פרק י"ד משנה ב' משנתנו דנה במלאכה. Our Mishnah is going to deal with the work הדומה למעבדת האור, which is similar to someone who's tanning hides, who's working with hides. אין עושים הילמי בשבת. You don't make a hilmi in Shabbat. Now, how did people used to tan hides? If you ever been, you take like a bath of water, like a big place of water, you put some salt and other ingredients inside, and then you put the hides inside of them, and it makes them soft, whatever, being able to work with it. So you say you don't make hilmi b'Shabbat. You don't make this concoction on Shabbat. Ta'arovet meruba, it has to be like a bathtub, a big concoction, shel mayim v'melach, of water and salt, betosefet k'tzat shemen, with an addition of a little bit of oil. And here it says you're not allowed to do it, not just for tanning hides, you're not allowed to do it even if you want to pickle, or even just to eat. You know, to put something in your food, to pickle. You're right, to pickle. כדי לכבוש בירקות, in order to pickle in it vegetables. וטעם איסורו, why did they forbid it? מפני שנראה כעושהו לעיבוד האוכלים ולתיקונם שיתקמו יפה. It looks like you're pickling. This is a job. It looks like right now, you know what the guy is doing, is pickling. But we have a rule, and what does the rule says? ואף על פי שאין עיבוד באוכלים, we have the rule when it comes to food, we're not worried about such things. You're eating it. We're not worried about food. מכל מקום אסור לעשות כן מדברי סופרים. Over here, because it's a large amount, you're not allowed to do it from the rabbis. אבל, this is Amiri. אבל עושהו את מי המלח. But he's allowed to put a little dish with salt and oil שנותן מעט מלח במים, כלומר שעושה מי מעט. When he puts a little bit of salt in the water, which means he's making a little bit. He's making a little bit of ilmi, yeah? Like a small little, not for pickling, but for a small amount. וטובל בעין פיתו, and he's allowed to put his bread inside, ונותן לתוכו תבשיל, he's allowed to put vegetables inside. שכן מותר לטבל את מאכלי השבת בשעת אכילתם. You're allowed to put spices on the foods of Shabbat at the time that you eat them. כדי לשפר את טעמם, in order to make them. Now, so for example, if you have a cup with mei melach, like pickling, you're not allowed to put vegetables inside. If it's like 6 hours before you eat. But if it's like on the table, and you want to do it, you're allowed to do that. That's the idea. Okay. Aval Rabbi Yossi is going to say, no, I don't understand. This doesn't make sense. Va'alo hilmihu ben merubeh ben me'at. He says, when did we see such a thing? That for a little bit you're allowed to do it. A little bit to break Shabbos you're allowed to. But a lot of break Shabbos you're not allowed to. Well, there's no such things. Ma'u evdel ben hilmi umei melach. It says, what's the difference between the hilmi, the large amount, and salt water? והלא גם תערובת מועטת של מים ומלח hilmi hu. They're both hilmis. It says, what are you talking to me? A large amount, a small amount. ואם נתיר אותה, once I'm going to say this is allowed, יאמרו הבריות, מלאכה מרובה אסורה. Everybody's going to say, if you're pickling 100 pickles, you're not allowed to. But one pickle, it's okay. מלאכה מועטת מותרת, as people are going to say. You're allowed to pickle one pickle. You're just not allowed to pickle 5 pickles. אלא בין מי מלח מרובים ובין מי מלח מועטים אסור לעשות. Both things, whether it's a lot of salt, whether it's a little bit of salt, with water, you're not allowed to do. מפני שהוא כמעבד ומתקן את האוכל. You're pickling, and that's not allowed. ואלו הן מי מלח המותרים. And then he says, but I have a way for you. You want to eat? I have a way for you to eat, to be happy. This is what is permissible. נותן שמן בתחילה לתוך המים. If you want to do it, put a little bit of oil inside the water. קודם שייתן בהם המלח. Before you put the salt inside. או לתוך המלח, or you put the oil first into the salt. Says, what did you do by that? שנותן שמן בתחילה לתוך המלח, קודם שייתן את המים, when you put the oil into the salt before you give the water, שהשמן מחליש את כוחו של המלח. The oil weakens the salt. ושוב אין זה דומה למעבד ומתקן את האוכל כדי שיתקיים. And it's not such a good hilmi anymore. The hilmi solution is not good. Nobody's going to pickle in such hilmi.
It's strange because they say האין הדומה למעבד ומתקן את האוכל. כאילו, this is like if you put spices, you מתקן את האוכל.
Yeah, but there's a difference. There's two tikkunim. There's a tikkun when you make a pickle, and there's a tikkun for taste before you eat.
Right.
Two different things. So he says, for pickling, we all agree, it's not allowed to. But for taste, you'll be allowed to. And we're not going to worry that you're going to pickle with it because you're not going to do the solution, a strong solution like the...
Right, but what's the difference if I just take a little salt and put rather than put it in the water? Because of how they used to do leathers, now they forbid to do because it's למראית עין.
Not just the merit it doesn't work the same way. According to Rabbi Yossi, if you put oil first,
right, it's not going to be as strong.
It's not going to be as strong.
But what I don't understand is why is it that they don't let you take and pickle, זה לא pickle אפילו, you put it in the water and you eat it.
Also, he says if you make the solution,
because it looked like Heinz in the beginning. It said
because
like a solution for Heinz.
Yeah, so he's going to tell you, if you say that you're allowed to do one, yeah, let's say there's 20 people in the table, you're allowed to do 20. Let's say there's 40 people in the table. That's what he's afraid.
That's not my question.
Again, so what's the question?
אין עושים הילמי בשבת, תערובת מרובה של מים ומלח בצופה קצת שמן כדי לכבוש בירקות.
You're asking before Rabbi Yossi? Or according to Rabbi Yossi?
וטעם איסורה מפני שנראה כעושהו לאיבוד האוכלים ולתיקונם.
This is the way they used to pickle.
אז כאילו זה למראית עין, that's what I don't understand. כאילו לאיבוד.
Yeah, because you're not going to pickle on Shabbat, you're just going to eat it on Shabbat.
Right, you're not, because if you put it in Shabbat, you have to wait a few days for pickling.
That's right.
That's what I don't understand. Is למראית עין or...
It's a little bit more than מראית עין. I'll tell you why it's a little bit more than מראית עין. Because if I'll ask you to prepare for me a solution for pickling, that's how you will prepare the solution for pickling. It was an industrial strength pickling solution. You making an industrial strength pickling solution. People are going to say, excuse me, this is for pickling. What are you doing? So it's like all, yeah.
It's not only למראית עין.
Yeah, it's a little bit you actually making a solution. Okay. In other words, if you're making a big container, right? And after Shabbat, what are you going to use it for? For pickling. So it looks like you're making it.
Okay.
Even though you didn't. And even though you're not going to use it after Shabbat. Yeah. But it looks like. And it's the same process. So this is what he's afraid of. But Rabbi Yossi says, I'm not going to let you do it even on the table unless you do it בשינוי. You're going to make it weaker solution.
Yeah.
ושוב, אין זה דומה למעבד ומתקן את האוכל כדי שיתקיים. And this doesn't look like you're making a pickling solution for a long time. אבל לא ייתן בתחילה מים ומלח ואחר כך את השמן. But don't do it first water and salt and then the oil. שעל ידי כך נעשים מהמלח עזים, because then it's real pickling solution. ואין השמן מחליש כוחם, and the oil is not going to weaken the strength. והרי זה נראה כמעבד ומתקן בהם את האוכלים. It looks like you're making a solution to pickle, כדי שיתקלמו. ואין הלכה כרבי יוסי, the הלכה is not like רבי יוסי, which means you're allowed to do it from the beginning, don't worry about it. Even though it looks like you're preparing before Shabbat, as long as you just do it right before you eat. So you show it's for the food and it's not for pickling.